Akadosh, Erev Tov, Masechet Yevamot Daf Tzadik Tet, Amud Aleph 99a1. The Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanan. We learned to the right time. Remember, we're going off of that which we said in the Mishnah, that the Mishnah was talking about the 5 different women that their children got mixed up. So we don't know who is the child of whom. And then what happens is they're going to be needed yibum done to them. So everyone else has to do chalitza just in case of the real brother. And then one does the yibum. And it comes out that every single person has 4 chalitzot and 1 yibum. So now the Gemara says, we went to the right. Yes, yesh choletz limo misafek, la'achoto misafek, levito misafek. Somebody has to do chalitza to his mother, misafek, to the sister, misafek, and to the daughter, misafek. Right? How? Right? Let's go. Ketzad. Imo isha acheret. What happens if it's the own mother and another woman? Yeah, remember, the guy's mother and another woman. Lahen shne zecharim. They have 2 boys. Chazru v'yaldu shne zecharim b'machveh. Then they had 2 boys in a cave, right? In a hiding. Meaning they had to go in hiding. They went, and then what happened? Uva bena shel zo. Now what happened was that in the cave, they lost track who's who. There's 2 children, 2 mothers, but they lost track who's who. So what happens? Uva bena shel zo, v'nasa ima imo shel ze. Ubena shel zo, nasa imo shel ze. Now it means that basically the ben avadai of each one got married to the mother of the friend. Remember, there's a ben vadai. Then there's a safek, meaning that we don't know who the other 2 children are. So the ben vadai of this one got married to the mother of this one. The ben vadai of this one got married to the mother of this one. Now the other 2 brothers, right, are sfekot. We don't know if it's the brother of this one or the brother of this one. We don't know who it is. Umetu, these 2 brothers vadai, they died without children. So so each one has to do chalitza to both of them. So it comes out, each one might have to do chalitza to his own mother. Okay, we got it. Remember, yesterday's up today, it's all enigmas, it's all riddles. Huh? Obviously, it cannot be Shalom. Right? It has to be chalitza. Okay, next. How do you do it now to your sister? How do you do chalitza misafek to your sister? So he says, Imo v'isha acheret she'yaldu shtei nekevot b'machveh. It was his mother and another woman, right? That they had 2 girls, right, in the machveh, in the cave. Uba achehen shel, right, shelo me'otahem. So comes the brother of these 2 girls, right? Shelo me'otahem, which means it's only a brother from the father, not from the mother. Okay? Unsa'um, and right, got married to the shte banot shenitargu umetu, and they died. Right, he died. Well, basically, the husbands died. Velo banim choletz shtem. Again, the brother from the father has to do chalitza for both of them. Nimtza, it comes out choletz achto misafek. He has to do chalitza right from the sister. Levito misafek. How does the person does chalitza to his own daughter misafek? This one's a little bit more complicated. So it says ishto v'isha acheret she'yaldu shtei nekevot b'machveh. His wife and another woman gave birth to 2 females in the cave, right? So now what happens is one of them is his daughter, and one of them is the daughter from another husband. So now the brothers, right, of the 2 husbands came and got married to these 2 girls. Okay, these are the brothers of Shtebanot Shenitanvu. They got married to the 2 girls. Metu, if they died without children. He's going to do chalitza, which means both fathers, Reuben and Caleb, has to do chalitza to Almanat Achi, which is one of the girls, which is actually going to be his own daughter. Okay, possibly his own daughter. So Tanya, we learned to the right. Hayar Rabbi Omer, Rabbi used to say, Ish v'isha pe'amim shemoledim lechamesh umot. You know that it could happen, you have a man or a woman, that they could have 5 children, and each one has a different genealogy. Right? How could it be? Right? Let's see. Ketzad. Yisrael shelakach eved v'shipcha min hashuk. Imagine right now a Jew gets married to an eved, right? He took an eved or shipcha kenanit, right, from the shuk. V'lahen shne banim, right? And they have 2 children before, right, the sale. V'nitgayer echad mehen. One of the children, they convert. Nimtza echad get. So it comes out one of them is a get, one of them is a goy. Yeah? Hitbilan l'shem avdut. He comes and he does the Eved v'shipcha l'shem avdut, that they're going to become now slaves. They have a child. So now it comes out that you have a ger, right? Because one of their children converted. You have an oved kochavim, a goy, which was the first child that never converted and didn't become an eved. The eved, also an eved now, because when this eved v'shipcha, they did tevilah to become avadim. Now their child becomes an eved. Shichrer et hashipcha, when he releases the shipcha, uba leha ha'eved, and then the eved has relations again with the shipcha after she was free. Harekan ger, the oved kochavim, the eved umamzer. Now it's a mamzer, right? Obviously, mamzer, as the Gemara is going to explain, because an eved that has relations with a bat Israel is a mamzer according to the shita. Wait a minute. One second. One second. Yeah. If you now freeze both of them, and now they got married to each other, now you're going to have a ger, oved kochavim, an eved, a mamzer, Israel. 5 different children from the same eved v'shipcha. You have 5 different umot, right? That's what it says. 5 different concepts. 5 different concepts. Again, oved kochavim, eved, mamzer, v'Yisrael. So says the Gemara, my question, what does Rabbi mean come to teach us? So the Gemara says, oved kochavim ve'eved, about Israel, havla mamzer. That's what he's coming to teach us. He's teaching us that oved kochavim and eved has relation to about Israel. The child is a mamzer. We're going to write that yes, mocher et aviv lagbot imo ketubata. Do you know there's a case where a person could sell his father in order to collect the ketubah of his mother? Sounds like an interesting case. No? Keitzad, what's the case? Yisrael shalaka, right? Eved v'shipcha min hashuk. Imagine a Jew who takes an eved v'shipcha from the shuk, and he does tevilah to them. For what? For avdut. Right now, these are his avadim, eved kanani and shipcha kananit. Right? They already have, right, a child, which he did not acquire. So he freed the shipcha, right? That means the Jew freed the shipcha. Right? And he got married to her. So one more time. A Jew acquires an eved v'shipcha. They already have a goy that he did not acquire. Okay? Now what happens is, the Jew comes and he שחרר את השפחה שלו, ואז הוא יתחתן איתה. אוקיי? מה? אוקיי? עמד וכתב כל נכסיו לבנה. So now this father comes, and what he did was he wrote all the properties, yeah, to her son, Livna, to her son as a present. Okay, so now what happens is, now when this guy dies, right, and now the woman wants to collect her ketubah, so then this goy child is going to sell his own father, which is an eved Kenani. He's going to sell him in order to collect the ketubah for his own mother. Michael Ashmalan, what does it come to teach us? Kula Rabbi Meir. The entire thing is Shitat Rabbi Meir. Why? Because an eved is considered metaltalin. The metaltalin mishtabed leketubah. And metaltalin are going to be mishtabed to the ketubah, right? As a whole, like Shitat Rabbi Meir. That's what it's coming to teach us. Because if not, why wouldn't he be able to? No, the chidush is that here it's going to Shitat Rabbi Meir that an eved is metaltalin. And metaltalin is mishtabed to the ketubah. Usually we don't say that. Usually the ketubah, whatever is mishtabed to ketubah is only karka, land, right? Which is kakao, not metaltalin. Metaltalin is not mishtabed to ketubah. They're going to Shitat Rabbi Meir, yes. So therefore, since the evidence is like metaltalin, and metaltalin is going to be mishtabed to the ketubah according to Shitat Rabbi Meir. So therefore, that's why it's going to be mishtabed. By them, you can answer. Hakamash Malan comes teach you. Abda kemekaka dam. Know that the eved is considered like karka. And since eved is considered like karka, not metaltalin, that's why he could collect the whole from the eved. So either way, either that the eved is considered metaltalin and the metaltalin is shabela ketubah, or the eved is considered karka and karka is mishtabela ketubah. Or mimila u yacholim korot. Mishnah. Tzaditet Amud Aleph on the bottom. Mishnah. Haisha shenitarev lada bevlad kalata. remember, even though it sounds very interesting, as I already mentioned this morning, these cases happen all the time where you have babies that were mixed up, right? There were babies that were stolen from the hospitals, you understand? And there were still babies that were disappeared, right? And then כאילו, נפטרו ומתו וזה, בסדר, יש הרבה עם no, האישה שנתערב בלדה בבלד כלתה. Imagine how you have the mother and the daughter. Yeah? He comes and he says, the mother and daughter. Are you listening or not? Mother and daughter. Right? So one more time. האישה נתערב בלדה בבלד כלתה. You tell me it's mother and daughter, and you tell me correct. It's 100% incorrect. I can tell how many people are paying attention. One more time. Are you guys paying attention? One more time. A woman that her own child gets mixed up with the child of the daughter-in-law. Okay? The ta'aruvot, they grow up. Yeah? And they get married. Umetu, and they died. Okay? Umetu, they died. Yeah? No. Benei kala, right? The child of, right? The kala. Choltzin velo yamin. They do chalitza and yibum. Right? They have to do chalitza and not yibum. Right? Shehu. They have to do chalitza and not yibum. Shehu safek eshet achiv safek eshet achi aviv. Because now it's a safek, and maybe it's the brother-in-law, right? The brother, or maybe it's going to be eshet achi aviv, the aunt. Meaning he has to do yibum to his sister-in-law, not to his aunt. So here, since you have the child, which is blood kalata, and also blada, so one of them is going to be the uncle, one the nephew. So, yeah. So he says, Bnei hazekena or choltzin or mibiyamin. And the Bnei hazekena, they do or chalitarium. Shesafek eshet achiv ve'eshet ben achiv. Does he have a safek of eshet achiv or eshet, right, ben achiv? Fine. Next case. Metu ha-kisherim. What happens now if the kisherim, if they die? What does that mean? The kisherim are the children that you don't have any safek who are the mothers. Ha-ta'aruvot, right? Ibnei hazekena. So the ta'aruvot, right? They come into the bnei hazekena. They're also going to do chalitza no yibum. Why? Shu safek the same safek. The ibnei hakala, but to do with the children of the kala. One of them does chalitza, one of them does yibum. Kohenet. Yes, Kohenet. Shenitarev lada b'blad shivchata. When you have a Kohenet that her child got mixed up with the blood of the shivcha. Yeah? Why? It's either the Kohen or it's the slave of a Kohen, but both of them could eat truma. But they can only take one portion in the grain, right? They're not allowed to be metamemet because it's affect maybe they're the Kohen. They're not allowed to get married when they get older. Ben kshirot, ben psulot, whether they're kosher or not kosher. Why? Because you have a safek whether they're an eved or a safek whether they are a Kohen. If they grow up, they shikharu and then they redeem each other. Right? They can only get married to women which are fitting for kihunim, for kohanim. But if they do get tamimet, and we don't give them lashes. But then now they're not allowed to eat truma misafek. And if they do eat truma, they don't pay keren v'chomesh. They don't pay the principal of it. They don't go to the goren to start taking trumot u'masrot. It's a truma. Right? They have to actually, since they're not allowed to eat it, so they have to sell it to a kohen, but they get the money. They don't get also the korbanot. We don't give them kochim. And we don't take the kochim from them. Meaning, since it's always a safek, since they have a safek each time, so therefore, so if we don't give to them, because they have to bring a proof their kohanim. And with such their things, we cannot take away from them. So we can. That's why if they sell it to us, we have to pay them. Right? If I'm a Kohen, I would have to pay them to give it to them. Right? And their bechor, one of them, is going to do, he's going to graze until he becomes tameh, he gets moved. So then they get the chumrot of everything. Chomer of Yisraelim and chomer of Kohanim. It makes sense. No, at the end of the day, you have a case where you have a safek whether the guy was an Eved or a Kohen on both the children. You don't know who it is. So says the Gemara, Metu HaKesherim. If right now the Kesherim died, right? And it says over here, Elahana, the Bnei Terahom, Yishum Derub Lavdu Psulim. Says what? They're not going to be Psulim. Right? Amar of Papa says, Ema, right? He says over here, Umetu Avadaim. He says, Umetu Avadaim, the Vadaim died, not the Ksherim. He says, Livnei Kala, Echad Choletz, Echad, right? Otza Yibum. Dafka Michlats, first you always have to do Chalitza and then Yibum. But Yibum at the beginning you don't do because if not, we did this already 20 times. Basically, whenever we have a case of Yibum and Chalitza, you always first let them do Chalitza first, and then the one person that's going to do the Yibum, he does the Yibum. Because if you do the other way around, so then what happens is that if he would do right now Yibum, and really Be'emet, then what's going to happen is that she's getting married to somebody that maybe he wasn't the one that's supposed to do Yibum. So therefore, you just took this Yevamah and you put her to the shuk. So you take all the ones that they had to do Chalitza, and then the one that's going to do Yibum, he does the Yibum. If they were the ones that had to do Yibum, they did Chalitza, now she could get married anyway to shuk. And if not, anyway, he got married to the Yevamos, so there's no problem. So because that, anytime there's a effect, you always first do Chalitza and then Yibum. Kohenet Shenitareh, a Kohenet, that her child got mixed up with the child of the Shipcha. Chelek Echad, says the Gemara, they are going to take only one portion in the granary. Shita, obviously, says the Gemara, no. Eima Chelek Ke'echad. They are going to take the Chelek like one of the people, one to be together. So now we learned in the right, right? And sorry, so now we learned in the Mishnah. You're never going to give anything to the Eved unless his master was with him. Meaning, imagine right now you have an Eved that comes to the granary. Says, give me Trumot Masot. Who are you? Give me your master. Bring your master. Bring the Kohen, and then we're going to talk. The title is going to write. Even review that these two words of you. So, Rabbi says, no, Yachol Shemar, he could say, Im Kohen ani. So, Rabbi should say, if I'm a Kohen, so give me because of me. If I'm an Eved, give me because of my rabbi. So, because it's obviously our Mishnah is going like a Yehuda, and therefore that's why they both have to come together in order to receive the Truma. Again, this is the Machloket of Yehuda and Rabbi Yosef. In the place of Rabbi Yehuda, they used to actually bring up from Truma to Yuchasim, which means that whoever they used to give to the granary, the Trumot Masrot, they used to bring them up, right? And that's why he never permitted the Eved to come by himself. He always needed the rabbi. Meaning like this, if you use the granary as a proof that he's a Kohen, so that's why it makes sense that an Eved will never be able to get it without his master. Because if right now he gets without his master, tomorrow you're going to come, you're going to say he's a Kohen. So because of that, in the place of Yehuda, they used to use, whoever used to come and collect in granary Trumot, they used to come and say, this is a Kohen. So because of that, he says, no Eved could come without the master. However, though, they wouldn't care. I mean, they would never say because he collected the granary, he would become a Kohen. So because of that, even without his master, why? They didn't care. Because even if it wasn't, what's the worst case scenario? He would never become a Kohen, right? Not because he went and he collected from the granary, he's going to become a Kohen. So that's why, right, we don't actually come and we don't. He says, do you know that I only went and I testified once on a yichus of a person, and they made an Eved become a Kohen because of me. That's why he says, look how dangerous it is. They made an Eved into a Kohen because of his testimony. So, do you really think they did that? He says, if an animal of a tzaddik, the tzaddik, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu will not make a takala through him. Tzaddikim azman lo kol sheken. So he says, Elaima bikshu la'alot Eved lekuna al-pi. They wanted to make an Eved become a Kohen because of him, and Baruch Hashem, they caught it on time. So Chazal be'atred Rabbi Yosef, why? Because he saw it in the city of Rabbi Yosef, and then he went and he testified in the city of Rabbi Yehuda. Look at the danger. Did you understand what happened? Look at the danger. In the city of Rabbi Yosef, they would collect without their master. So he saw this Eved that he thought that it was a Kohen coming and taking Trumot. Then he went to the city of Rabbi Yehuda and he testified this guy who was taking is a Kohen because he's taking by himself. Now, in the city of Rabbi Yehuda, they would actually be ma'alim the truma because of that. So because of that was a mix-up. That was where it went. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. Listen to this, very important. Asara and cholkin lahem truma bebet haganot. There are 10 people that they don't give truma to bebet haganot. These are the 10 people, right? That they don't give out trumot to mansot and bet haganot. Bet haganot is the greatest. These are the 10 people. Cheresh, deaf mute, shoteh, right? Which is a person that's not 100% there. Katan, a child, a minor. Tumtum, it's covered over. You don't know if it's boy or girl. Androgynos, he's got both male and female organs. Ha'evet Kenani have a coin. Isha, a woman, which is Eshet coin. Ha'erel, which is a Kohen, which he died, right? Which basically, sorry, not he died. The brothers died with Storm the Brit Milah, so he was permitted to go without a Brit Milah. But right now, he's on the Ha'erel. Doesn't have the Zor or La still. Tameh, a Kohen that's Tameh. Then we'll see Isha Shen Adonit. A Kohen that's married to a woman that's, for example, divorced, Goyas, a woman that's prohibited. That's it. All these cases. They send it to their houses. Or Kohen that got married to a woman that's not proper to him. If a Kohen gets married to a woman that's not proper to him, he forfeits the entire concept of Trumot U'Masot. Ask the Gemara. I understand they don't have that. And therefore, they're going to be mizalzel in the truma because you're giving it to a person that doesn't have that. Paresia. Tumtum adroginos nami also tumtum adroginos also you don't give it to them. Why? Tafkufa mudalef tav bidia b'fnatzman because they are bidia b'fnatzman. It's another creature. It's another creation. Eved nami also an eved truma yuchsin. We already mentioned. Maybe you're going to make him into from truma to yuchsin. Now you're going to say that he's a kohen himself, even though he's only the eved of kohen. Arel v'tameh mishum mise an arel somebody that's tameh. Because they're ma'us, they're disgusting in the eyes of the Masechet Shalom because it's knas. That if a person gets married to a woman that's not fitting for him, it's knas. Elayisha, but the wife of the Kohen might tell me, why wouldn't you give it to her? Right. So it's a machloka between Rav Papa and Yeshua. One of them says mishum grusha, because maybe the husband is going to divorce her, and she's not allowed to eat truma, and therefore they don't know that she got divorced, so she continues eating truma. One of them says mishum yichud because of the yichud, which means that a woman's going to come. What are you doing here? No, I'm getting granary. And really, there's yichud going on there. There's monkey business. Okay, so what's the difference between them? There's going to be a difference between them, right? Which is going to be right? Whether it's going to be the place of that they're coming, it's very close to the city, so there's not a lot of people there. So therefore, in such a place, it's not shayach that a chashash of the Grusha Kohen we're getting a chilek because everybody knows, right, whether they got divorced or didn't get divorced, but there's still a problem of yichud. Minami or another answer, that it's very, very nachok, but the people are found there. So since people are found there, so therefore, obviously, there's no problem of yichud, but there is going to be a problem of maybe she's going to get divorced and nobody actually